It's a historic moment for Mexican golf. You know, this is the first senior Mexican Open, and you, myself, and the rest of here in Punta Mita, we have the chance to pull this off and put it together. And I think it's historic, and there's nothing like making history in life, is there? Hi everybody, it's Carl Emberson here, live from Punta Mita with my dear friend Jean Van De Velde in this week's Tee Talks from Punta Mita. I'm just grabbing Jean before he heads out to the US Open at Pinehurst. Jean, can we have some thoughts on what you think is going to happen at the US Open? And a big hello and thank you for joining us here on today's Tee Talks.
Hey Carl, I'm very happy to be with you guys. What's going to happen? I surely hope that this year in Pinehurst will be a little different than last year at Los Angeles. Although Los Angeles is a beautiful layout, I thought that even if it was a good fight in the end, but I thought that the fairways were way too receptive. The greens were not as firm as they usually are throughout a U.S. Open. I thought it was a U.S. Open, but kind of an hybrid of a U.S. Open.
Okay.
I like to see
maybe not as challenging as previous ones. Or?
Yeah, I mean, the average width of the fairway was 39 yards. When you think that a U.S. Open is really around 22, 25, that makes a huge difference. So let's see how Pinehurst plays. There's been a little bit of renovation. Pretty sure they changed maybe a couple of angles or they lengthened a few holes. But he will surely play fast and very sandy around.
Right.
So, we remember when Martin Kaymer won, the skill that he displayed at that time was absolutely amazing.
Right. Who else has won on that course? Martin, but it's a classic U.S. Open course.
It is, and to me, it's one that will test every compartment of your game, and that's what you want. I mean, a U.S. Open, even if you don't have super high rough over there, you will have runouts and you will go in the sand, and at least that's what I anticipate. So it would be interesting to see that. It's going to be a good fight anyway. I mean, you have some players who comes in, of course, in great form. I mean, Scotty, you wonder when is he going to...
Hard to beat favorite. They say he's the favorite. It's been at least 10, 15 years since it's like 3-1 favorite. The last time Tiger Woods was a hotter favorite as Scotty is going into a US Open.
Yeah, and it's, not surprising. Now, again, you have quite a few guys who've shown great form. I think Victor Hovland, although he came out short last week, he's been in and around for quite a while.
Knocking on the door.
Exactly. Morikawa has been impressive. I mean, into the last group.
Yeah.
I think that the mistake he made at the PGA, he won't repeat them. I think he will go for a little more shots. PGA was, I thought, a little too conservative, a little bit too much on playing his standard shot, which is a left to right. Didn't go from some of the flag where actually he was trailing, he was behind. Couldn't find that extra gear. But what he showed at Muirfield over the weekend was quite something.
Impressive. What do you think, Shambo? Does Shambo show up again on a course like this?
Without a doubt. I mean, Bryson is a very interesting character, first of all, but is a force to be reckoned with. He was there at the Masters. He was so close at the PGA. It would be nice to see him, find that kind of form and hit those greens. And we've seen with DeChambeau that, sure, he can power it at 360,
he sort of changed his strategy a bit now. It's less about power and more about braid.
Totally. He's not as big as he was. He swing within himself on the short iron, which allows him to give himself quite a lot of chances. So DeChambeau,
any others that were
Xander.
Xander's got to be confident. He broke that barrier to finally get over the bridesmaid.
Yes, and although he went backwards last weekend as well,
I think he still had a hangover.
Probably. he was still up there over there, for the weekend on Saturday. So,
any other dark horses, Jean, before you head off to Pinehurst that we might see any European players that are in form apart from Victor?
Fitzpatrick will be. I would hope that he's going to show his nose. I would love to see Fleetwood as well.
Yeah.
Do something special without a doubt.
That's one of those guys that you really want to win, don't you?
And
he's been playing for so long.
Exactly.
And he hasn't got a win on the PGA.
And Jon Rahm, we're very unsure if he's going to participate or not.
Unsure? Today it looks like he's out, isn't it?
Well, I heard he's out, and I looked at the list. He's still on the list.
Yeah.
So question mark. But really, last weekend it was preoccupying. His form. He couldn't walk. He has an infection on the foot. So and a lot of young guys. To see who's coming up.
Thanks. Enjoy the US Open, Jean. And let me grab you and talk about what I really wanted to talk to you about today. Is about the WCM Senior Mexican Open that will be taking place right here in Punta Mita.
Yes.
The 14th to the 17th of November. Thanks to you and your team. That'll be taking place in Punta Mita. Part of the Legends Tour. $450,000 in prize money, sponsored by the Mexican Federation or sanctioned by the Mexican Federation. So wonderful event. Can you give our listeners an update on who have we got coming, what to expect? I know I've played in your event in France, the Allianz format where you play a Stableford. Just tell me, the mic is yours.
Thank you. So yes, WCM was very familiar to here Punta Mita, and I want to start by saying a big thank you to Punta Mita for hosting this tournament. There's always a few ingredients you need. You need a great field, you need great sponsors, you need great volunteer spectators, whatever you want, but you need a great venue.
Right.
And Punta Mita is as beautiful as you can find.
Perfect.
So the idea is 64 professionals, 64 amateurs. The professional play their own tournament, we shall say.
Right.
The amateur is going to play in group of two as a pairing.
Yep.
And so there's going to be 30 group of two, and they're going to play an aggregate Stableford, meaning it's an addition of the two scores. So those two amateur are going to play alongside the two professional every day.
Right.
And after 2 rounds, it will be decided on the ranking. So Carl,
leaderboard in the amateurs, leaderboard the pros.
Exactly.
And you're playing the last day together.
Exactly. So the idea is to give an immersion of the amateur and to play alongside the pro, but to be part of it.
I remember fondly when it was at St. Cloud in Paris 2 years ago. My dear friends Hugo Martinez and Mauricio Morales, I think they're up there in the final with Ian Woolsey on the last day. Woolsey was in the lead, and they were leading the amateur, and they had
last year
a day to be remembered in their life. So
so they're going to be
a unique format with them. They had a good crowd. All those over 50 professionals I played with, over the years. The PGA ones and this over 50s, and the over 50s seem to. They get it. They get their, life is different now. They're competing, but they understand how
it works.
How important it is for that amateur to have a great day and a memorable day. And,
all those guys are very present on, I should say, the company days, the outings that they give around the year. So for them, it's a great stepping stone. It's a great platform to make more contacts, to play with amateur, as you say, with leading in their own categories. And at the end of the day, you really, again, the immersion is great because you spend, the entire day with them. You start from breakfast to lunch to dinners to being on the range with them, etc. So, we're lucky here to bring the tournament in Punta Mita because we have the best of what will come from Europe, and we have the chance and the luck to have some of our friends
from the north,
from the US,
and Latin America.
So we have, for example, lineup Corey Pavin will be here. We have the like of Steve Jones will be here.
Right.
We have, I'm not going to spoil it all, but Cabrera will be here as well.
That's great.
And Carl Cavecchia. So a few names that you rarely see traveling in Europe, unless they come and play the Senior Open Championship.
Right.
But if not, they're not there. And having us being so close and having, such a, I would say, a very friendship and a long friendship ongoing with those people.
Right, with Stads. Stads can't play, but we've had a good relationship with all these, with Corey, Stads, Johnny Miller even. They all come down here. They all know Punta Mita.
They all know Punta Mita, Chris DeMarco, and they all know us, me as an organizer in brackets. So
Punta Mita's hospitality.
Everybody joining in. We're going to be able to have.
It should be a good few days.
A phenomenal tournament because at the end of the day, we're aiming already at 7, major champions.
Yeah, that's amazing.
2 senior champions minimum, and who's to say maybe we have about 10 at the beginning of the week. So
and what a historic, I think, and we'll probably wrap it up here today. It's a historic moment for Mexican golf. This is the first senior Mexican Open, and you, myself, and the rest of here in Punta Mita, we have the chance to pull this off and put it together. And I think it's historic, and there's nothing like making history in life, is there?
Totally. And let's not forget that, we supported 100% by the Mexican Federation, and we thank them for that. By the Mexican PGA as well. We already have invited 5 Mexican players. Yeah. Then we might end up having a few more. We're definitely going to have, Latin players more, I would say, more present than in any other tournament. So we're very proud of that because we want a mix of all those nationalities to be here.
At Punta Mita over the years, as you know, you've been here for a few years now, Jean. We've been very, very pro supporting Mexican golf, from Gabi to Isa to Abraham to Carlos.
All of them.
Lorena has been coming here for years. It's great to do that, and I'll just let you wrap it up for us, if you don't mind.
I would like to thank as well the community here, Carl, because the members play such a big role. It's a members club, and having them being basically the idea between you and I was to make sure that they appropriate that tournament to them, and they've done so. They're going to be here. They're going to help us out. They're going to host professional. They're part of the tournament. To date, we have 15 out of 64 players who are guaranteed to participate. So a big thank you to them, and it's huge. So happy to be here.
I agree, Jean. Thanks for making this happen. And we all know that Punta Mita has this magical community, and here again is yet another example of how they've shown up to give us a hand, to give you a hand, to give Punta Mita a hand, and really take ownership of this event as event of their own. It's Punta Mita, one big family. The amount of our members that have replied positively to host a pro,
amazing,
host a dinner.
Hours.
It's like, okay, this is how it works. This is how communities grow, and this is what we are made of, and that's what makes it so special, Punta Mita.
Totally.
So, thank you very much, and I'm sure we'll be back and enjoy the US Open.
I will.
Cheers, mate.
I'll talk to you soon.
This is Carl Emberson signing off from Punta Mita Tee Talks. We look forward to catching up with you on our next edition coming soon.